Nobody really talks about what's next, except Dorian does a little bit now. But it's hard retiring from something you're so active in and you love so much, and something my mind was into the Olympia for 10 years. For 10 years, and even before that, I don't even talk about the 25 years before that of getting ready to get to that point where you have 10 Olympias in your view, okay? But when you retire, it's like, what do I do now? Who am I? You know? We were talking about Joseph Wilcox. He had some issues retiring. Dorian had some issues retiring. Ronnie Coleman had some issues retiring. It's hard to retire, but you don't know what to do. You know? What am I going to do? And am I going to get a job like a regular person? I thought about that. In fact, I did. I decided that rather than going to Arnold and saying, look, I need a job, you know, I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to know what it was like to be the average working guy, okay? So I went to a corporation, put my suit on, and I said, I'd like to get a job in your corporation here. What kind of experience do you have? Nothing. My resume is like, well, he spoke to presidents of different countries. He was a world-class competitor, and it doesn't really matter. What experience do you have in the corporate world? I said, very little. And I said, but I'm trainable. I said, show me. I can do this. I can do anything. The same attitude I had at the squat rack for all those years. I thought to myself, if it worked in the gym, why won't it work in business or the corporate life? And I got to tell you, it did. It worked really, really well, to where putting a suit on every day and putting my tie on was like my new gym. I was excited to get up at 5 in the morning and, okay, put my suspenders on. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to be around all these young people, 20 and 30-year-olds. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to walk in circles around them, okay? And I did. It was like my new squat rack. My desk, my office was like my home. You know, I got promoted over the years, okay? But I enjoyed working for merchant services. I was a corporate recruiter. My job was to identify talent and give them a job. But I had to interview them, introduce them to other department heads, and find a place for them. I wasn't a headhunter. I was a corporate recruiter for a very, very large company, okay? And I loved it to death. I really did. But the same energy that I learned here in the gym, here in the squat rack, I took to the corporate workplace, and it works. It's no different. The only difference is, in the corporate workplace, when you see red, you can't respond when you see red. You got to wait till it goes to pink. I sort of got in trouble a few times going, you know, okay? You can't do that when you can do it in the gym. I was paid a lot of money to respond like a crazy guy in the gym, and I did real well, but it didn't work in corporate life. So I had to learn how to adjust that side of my personality. But I enjoyed it immensely. So for about, I don't know, many years, for a good side of a decade or more, I played the corporate person. And I thought that bodybuilding was my past. It was my past. I was a young man back then, and I moved on in life, and you start, you know, assuming a different role. You know, I'm now in corporate world, and I talked to the CEO, and they didn't know my background. They did learn my background, and they go, we know who you are. What are you doing here? You know? And I said, I want to learn. I want to learn everything about this corporate world. Show me, you know? And I love doing overtime, staying later. I wanted to learn, and the bosses, the CEO would take me, I'm going to take you to my office, and I'm going to show you how I talk to all these companies. I wanted to learn about it. I wanted to learn like I was a student all over again. Sometimes you're a teacher, and sometimes you're a student in life forever, okay? So the same attitude I had when I was a teenager, and I hung out with Arnold, went to the beach with Arnold, and it was introduced to Frank Zane and Robbie Robinson and all these guys, and Lou Ferrigno, and I was a little kid learning. I took that same attitude into the corporate world, and it worked.